An object with a lesser density than water will float. An object with a greater density than water will sink. Use each given density in kilograms per cubic meter to explain what happens when you place an ear of corn in water. So what's this problem about? Basically, it's about comparing the density of a solid object with the density of water to see whether or not the solid object will float. What is density? It's a measure of kilograms per cubic meter. And what does that mean? Well, kilograms is mass, which is just like weight. So it's like the mass or weight per cubic meter for the same amount of volume. So which density means which object or which thing, water or corn, has more weight per cubic meter. So imagine a cubic meter of water and a cubic meter of corn. This number gives the weight of the cubic meter of water, and this number gives the weight of the cubic meter of corn. If the weight of the corn is greater, it will sink in water. And if the weight of the corn is less, then it will float in water. So, to explain what happens when you place an ear of corn in water, what we need to do is compare these numbers. Well, let's write each number in standard form. For 1 0/10 times 10 to the third, write the factor 1 0/10, and I'm not even going to place the decimal point. I'm going to imagine where it is. It should be right there between the 1 and 0. We want to move it 3 places to the right. Well, to do that, we need a few zeros. So write in 2 zeros. And then when we move that decimal place 3 places to the right, 1, 2, 3. This is where the decimal point would go. We don't need it there because that makes 1,000 a whole number, so we don't need the decimal point. So the density of water is 1,000 kilograms per cubic meter. Now let's check it out for an ear of corn. For 7 21/100 times 10 to the second power, write the factor 7 21/100. But again, I'm not going to write the decimal point, I'm going to imagine it here. And we want to move the decimal point 2 places to the right. We don't need any zeros this time because we have 2 digits. So we go here and then here on this side of the 1. And we don't need to write the decimal point because we have a whole number, 721. So the density of corn is 721 kilograms per cubic meter. Now we can compare the density of the solid object to the density of water and use the rules we're given up here to decide what the corn will do in water. And to answer the question, we can say because 721 is less than 1,000, an ear of corn is less dense than water, so it floats in water. So, if you know the density of a solid object, you can compare it to the density of water, and that'll help you decide whether or not the object would float or sink in water.